Thank you so much for tuning in today to our third episode of our Intermittent Fasting Series. If you have not seen the previous two videos, we discussed what the benefits of intermittent fasting are and also how to do it. So I will link those videos below. And for today, we're going to be discussing the acceptable liquids and the unacceptable liquids while in your fasting state during your intermittent fasting journey. Okay, so drop some love in the comments. If you have any questions, please let me know, but we're just going to jump right into it. So in the morning, of course, a lot of us consume something caffeinated. Coffee is the best thing you can consume, or tea. Both are acceptable. You don't want to be sweetening them with anything other than stevia. And if you can have it plain without stevia, that's even better. But you can buy the big bag of stevia in the raw is my favorite. The big green bag. I always put that in my coffee. I bake with it. I use it in my cooking every single day. So I highly suggest having that on hand. You can also buy the dropper, the liquid stevia, if you like it flavored. So sometimes in my coffee, I'll do a little drop of vanilla extract if I don't already have my dropper that's vanilla flavored stevia. So you can go about it both ways. But what is not acceptable, unfortunately, is creamer. So there's been a lot of creamers out there, bulletproof creamer, just dairy-free creamer, all the things. And then also unsweetened vanilla almond milk. I know that is a big question that I get with my clients, and they're wondering, can I do just a little splash, a little drop here, a little drop there? That's fine. But if you want to ensure that you are staying in your fasting state, then you want to go as clean as you can, okay? So it's your journey. You do whatever is best for you. However, there's no telling that your body is going to kick out of that fasting state the second you put more than a tiny little drop in there. So yes, a tiny little drop is okay, but is a tiny little drop going to make that much of a difference that you're going to enjoy it that much more than if it were just to be plain black coffee or regular tea? So these are just things to consider. And I always tell people the tighter you can be initially, the better. When I first started my intermittent fasting journey, I was super tight on everything. Now, yeah, I'll be honest, I do a tiny little drop of this, a tiny little drop of that. Is it making a huge difference? I don't think so, but I honestly don't know so. So if you want to be sure, then I would suggest staying away from all creamer and all almond milk while in that fasting state, okay? So black coffee is also a great option because it supports autophagy. This is going to be in a future video. Autophagy is our body's cellular recycling process. So this actually helps promote that, boost that, and again, detoxification benefits all the way. So black coffee is definitely a must in my world. So I would suggest it definitely if you need caffeine, more so than all the other things that we're going to discuss, like energy drinks and pre-workout and all that stuff. So lemon juice and lime juice is a big question amongst a lot of my clients. Those are acceptable. You're not going to be consuming like 2 lemons in one sitting. So that would be a different story. You can't sit there and just chomp away at lemon and lime. If you're squeezing some into your water or your tea, coffee will be a little bit weird, but I don't know any of you that like additional acidity in your coffee, then let me know. That would be a very interesting flavor combination. That is for sure. But lemon and lime juice actually promote gastric emptying, so it helps your digestive flow. If you have any type of GI distress, any type of constipation issues, anything of the sort, I highly recommend, first of all, setting aside some time, some quiet time to just be by yourself. I honestly think that that is the solution to many people that have constipation issues. We're just going, and we have all the things going on around us, all the stress and the chaos of life. If we just take some time and delegate it to some quiet, regrouping mindset time, then usually things start accelerating a bit. But a way that you can help that is with some lemon or lime juice. And I do speak very highly of that, okay? So diet soda, I hate to put it there because I think everyone should just get rid of it. However, there is a difference in sweeteners. So you want to stay away from anything that has sucralose. I don't know if I wrote it down there, but anything sweetened with sucralose, you want to stay away from, okay? Because that triggers an insulin response. What they're finding is that if you consume aspartame or stevia, which aspartame is an artificial sweetener, stevia, natural sweetener. If you can go stevia, go stevia. So you can get the diet sodas that are Zevia. I think they may be the only brand. Maybe there's another brand out there now, but that's acceptable. However, you know, in my opinion, it feeds into that craving and that desire for more soda, more sweets. So if you can just stick with plain and simple water, tea, black coffee, and stop feeding into that sweetness, then you're probably going to shut off that hunger hormone for it, and you're not going to desire and crave that as much when you're, you know, eating regular within your eating window. So, you know, there was a saying that someone sent me a meme the other day, and it was about snacking and how the only thing that snacking is good for is to provoke more snacking. You know, so if you shut it off, and that's why I really believe in intermittent fasting, because it doesn't allow for all the grazing and the snacking throughout the day. You literally have your delegated eating time, your feeding time, and you stick with that. And then if you want to have the food during your snack as part of your meal, then it is what it is. But at least it creates a better routine and a better habit, and it shuts off all the extra nonsense going on. Okay, not to say we can't enjoy some snacks from time to time, but all in all, across the board, being consistent with not snacking is the goal for anyone, I would say. Okay, so apple cider vinegar, ACV, the acidic acid in the vinegar is beneficial on so many levels. It actually gives you a satisfied feeling as if you just ate. So a lot of times when I'm eating every time, when I'm eating a salad, I use a vinegar-based dressing, or I do lemon juice, something with that acid, because it actually fulfills you and allows you to feel content and somewhat full longer. And, you know, that way, if you do a cream-based, it doesn't hit you the same. It actually makes you feel weighted down, and it doesn't really satisfy you in the same way that a vinaigrette or, you know, lemon lime would. So if you want to do like a shot in the morning, then you can do that. I honestly don't personally do it because I love vinegar. So I like to have it, you know, when I'm eating. But if you are someone that struggles, you've tried doing intermittent fasting and you struggle during your fasting window and you just can't wait to eat, and you're like, man, I would suggest doing a shot of apple cider vinegar if you can. And then minerals, electrolytes, so sodium, potassium, magnesium, things that aren't in a sugared drink, because there's so many things out there, so many supplement brands that create things that make you feel like you need it because it's got electrolytes and this, that, and the other, like G2, and these aren't supplement companies, but you know, these drinks that claim to be really good and high and all the things that you need, but they have a ton of other crap in them. So I ultimately would suggest just finding just that. You know, you can buy like the tablets, you can buy different supplements that don't have any additionals in them. Those are acceptable to have during your fasting state. They will not trigger an insulin response. Spices as well, salt as well. So I know some people that put cinnamon in their coffee. That's fine. Actually, salt is a must for a lot of people. I would suggest the pink salt because the sodium content is a lot lower, but you're still going to get that fulfillment from the salt. So I would sprinkle it into your water, and some people even sprinkle it into their coffee. And it's a little bit weird at first, but then after a while, you almost need it, okay? So that's the one thing I would suggest, is making sure that you stay well hydrated. And 9 times out of 10, you might want to incorporate the salt or potassium, magnesium, just to make sure that you are fully balanced with your electrolytes. The not acceptable I have over here, because I ran out of space, we'll just start right there. Essential oils, or any oils for that matter, but essential oils are something that are big these days, and that is definitely going to knock you out of your fasting state. And bulletproof coffee, okay? So this was something that when I first started dabbling with intermittent fasting, keto was becoming a big thing. And I read a few places that bulletproof coffee was acceptable. Well, come to find out, I was wrong. I was wrong, and I am so sorry to those clients of mine that were clients of mine years ago, that I told you if you couldn't wait until you broke your fast, bulletproof coffee was acceptable. It makes no sense. It absolutely makes zero sense. So it makes all the sense in the world now, because calories are calories. It's going to knock you out. I don't care if it's keto or not. So in terms of having bulletproof coffee, if you're doing a keto meal plan, that's acceptable. If you are doing intermittent fasting, not acceptable. Okay. So bulletproof coffee does have probably like 400 to 500 calories per cup. So that's something to be aware of as well. I think keto can be useful to some. Long term, probably not for most. That's why I don't really discuss it very much. And I feel that a lot of people will consume everything that they see marketed as keto, and they don't realize all the crap they're putting in their body, all the dairy they're putting in their body. And a lot of people, are lactose intolerant, or very, very their body just doesn't digest it well. And I'm actually dealing with a friend of mine right now who went keto, and her body's been messed up. She's been gaining weight. And ultimately, it's from the dairy. So that's my little side note plug, if you will. A plug on the opposite side to unplug you. Okay, creamers, we already said, no. I don't care if it's dairy-free or not. And bone broth is something that is great to break your fast with, okay? Collagen benefits, very, very, very good thing to have first before you eat your food after you break your fast. Obviously, it's not plant-based, so I don't do it. I've had collagen before, and I throw it in the mix every now and then, but I've not found anything that doesn't upset my stomach. So any of you that are watching that have done a plant-based diet and you found a collagen that you really do like that doesn't upset your GI system, please drop it in the comments. I would be ever so grateful. And diet soda, like I said, it's acceptable if it's sweetened with sucralose, or if it's sweetened with stevia or aspartame. If it's sweetened with sucralose, it's a no-go. Almond milk, we already discussed. Even if you're doing like a dropper, it's okay, but you're probably doing like a couple teaspoons or a couple tablespoons. That's probably not so much. And your branched chain amino acids, if you've ever heard people talking about BCAAs, and everything is hyped around BCAAs, and you need BCAAs to have those gains, and it's just a racket. It really is. I've never once in my life even took a sip of a BCAA, and I get all that I need from food. You can get all that you need from food. Please do not let anyone sell you on this false promise of you get more out of that than you can from food, because it's false. So if you are someone that is not able to eat a sufficient amount of proper nutrition, then you might want to incorporate it in. But if you're someone that's eating pretty darn well, I would not worry, because honestly, you're probably throwing your money down the crapper. Okay. Same thing with pre-workout, okay? Pre-workout, 9 times out of 10 has a lot of extra a lot of junk in there. So I'm sure you can find some healthy ones. Feel free to drop your favorite in the comments. And it goes back to black coffee, my friends. Keep it easy. Keep it simple. That way you know you don't have to question it. You know you are 100% fasted and no questions about it, okay? And then the last thing, exogenous ketones. I don't know anything about this ketonic world, okay? All I know is there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of cereals, and there's a lot of granola, and there's a lot of, cheese. There's a lot of cheese. There's a lot of dairy, okay? A lot of things going on with the keto world. There's exogenous ketones you can take, apparently, and people want to know, will they knock me out of my fast? Yes, they will knock you out of your fast, so don't eat them while you're fasting, or drink them, I think. Eat, drink, don't do any of it, okay? Stick with food, stick with balance, stick with intermittent fasting to get you started. Tweak as you move along. Make sure you have your best helper or coach if that's the route that you want to take. However you want to go about it, but make sure that you're getting your information from a valuable source, and don't keep plugging, all over the place, because it's just going to get you very confused. So find someone that you find valuable, that brings high quality content, and you feel like they are an educated source, and stick with just a few. Because I made that mistake years ago, and I was watching so many people, and it really had me very confused. So that is my spiel for this episode 3, all liquids. Let me know if you have any questions. Stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you soon.